Hey, I'm Lindsay Mills with Telluride TV, and I'm sitting here with the filmmaker behind Into the Okavango. How are you doing today?
Great.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Telluride.
Thank you.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got your start in film, and why Telluride? Why Mountainfilm?
Sure. So I've always wanted to be in movies my entire life, and I slowly sort of came up through television, working at National Geographic and making conservation film, and I was always looking for my first, what was going to be the thing I was really going to devote my life to make a feature doc. And I met Steve Boys, the sort of lead character in the film, the lead conservationist, about 6.5 years ago, and I was like, this is what I'm going to put my life into. And it really was. It's been taking a lot of time and a lot of devotion. And then Mountainfilm's just such a great fit. You know, it's all documentaries. It's very environmental. The crowd is great. It's been awesome, and I think it's just a really perfect fit.
Very much so. And looking at the relationships of people with this festival, the indomitable spirit is so resonant in your film, in all of the dangers that you faced and the team faced overall. I'd love to touch on what dangers were the hardest to overcome in your time in Botswana.
Sure. Well, Angola, Namibia, and Botswana. Most of our time was in Angola.
Got
it was 2.5 months, and I think it was just day in, day out, doing the same thing every day, eating the same food every day. It's a marathon, and I think just mentally getting through that, and just the routine, and it's just boring, and you got to deal with it every day for 4 months.
Charting.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting to the source ultimately. So 4 months spent down there. Tell me about the relationships amongst the team overall.
Right. So there's the Baye Polars, and they sort of do their thing. They always camp very closely together. Steve's like my best friend. He's like my brother. So we usually camp way out, and then it's just sort of everyone would gather around the campfire. It's like a family. You really become like a family. We all really care about one another. We're all trying to get through this. Mm-hmm. And when someone's having a bad day and they're in a bad mood, you just having a bad mood today, he or she will be better tomorrow.
Yes.
It was very close, and I think after going through that, it's when we see each other again, it's like being with your family.
Mm-hmm. Going through all of that, I mean, having to be a bit patient with each other at times, I
Absolutely.
imagine, teaches you a lot about each other.
Steve and I's relationship went up and down and up and down, and we're closer because of it.
Yeah. So not to give too much away, but in the film, you guys get stuck at a point. Tell me a bit about whether you think that was a mistake on anybody's part, or if you think that it added to the story.
Yeah, we got stuck right off the bat, like literally day one. So from the satellite imagery, when you look at this area on the Google satellite maps, you look like you see a river, and it looks like, oh, there's a river there, and canoes will go down.
We'll
and
be
then
fine.
In actuality, it's the water just comes above, sometimes up to your knees at the deepest point, but most likely it's about ankle deep. And so the boats can't, it's not deep enough for the boats. So we have to pull the boats. And that was 2 weeks of that. And everyone's looking at Steve like, what the hell, man? Like, you had plenty of time to look at this. What's going on? So we're it's like dog sleds, and we're the dogs, and we're harnessed up and pulling these boats for 2 weeks, and we were not expecting that, and so everyone was pretty miserable. I had to definitely pitch in and do my share of pulling, and it was exhausting, and it was the beginning of the trip, so we're all sort of out of shape at that point. But for the film, it was great because it was drama, and then when it happens right away, that's great. So I was miserable, but also really thought it was very fortunate for the film.
Yeah, a great piece of footage to gather immediately
Yeah.
on the offset.
Yeah.
So you encountered many dangers that no normal person that's walking around doing a 9 to 5 would generally encounter. What makes that exciting for you, and do you ever have fear in situations like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not a tough guy in the wilderness at all. I generally just let the fear go by just focusing on the camera, because I'm shooting the whole time, and that seems to displace the fear. But yeah, I mean, hippopotamus are they're terrifying creatures. They're nervous, they're territorial, they're angry. You can't really deal with them, and unless they make noise, you don't know they're there. Most of the time they make noise, and you make noise, and it's like, you stay over there, we'll stay over here. But every once in a while, there's just one by themselves, and you don't know they're there, and you surprise them, and they're really, really angry, and they're going to come at you.
Yeah.
So we had to deal a lot with hippos.
Hippos, landmines.
Landmines, getting through the land, and you just don't know with landmines. I mean, you don't know, obviously
Same
you
as
don't know
hippos.
until you're dead, right? So yeah, you just sort of have to, with landmines, you just sort of, you're trying to walk where you've seen other people walk, and there were definitely some areas where we shouldn't have been, where we shouldn't have gotten out of the boat, but we found that out later. But yeah, it's a scary thing. You're just nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this ongoing nervousness.
Eggshells.
Yeah.
So, for the viewers that were leading into this film, what's the general purpose? What's the goal of the film in the end?
So at National Geographic, we're really devoted to conservation, and I work on another project called Pristine Seas, but we use media as a tool. So this is just one tool in this giant conservation project that's probably going to be going on for 10, 20, 30 years, trying to make one of basically the largest protected area in Africa. And we have to emotionally engage not only the general public, but the decision makers. And so we use media as that tool. And normally with Pristine Seas, we just make 1-hour specials for the National Geographic channels, or even documentaries that just air locally and wherever we're trying to do the conservation. But for this, it's 3 countries, and it's a huge thing. So it needs the world's attention. In our ideal world, if the film's really, really successful, the Okavango starts to become more of a household name, like the Amazon. 20, 30 years ago, not many people heard of the Amazon.
Right.
And the Okavango is a very, very important place that we need to protect.
And with so many players and so many stakeholders, it's critical to get the story out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, your work is very much appreciated. We really enjoy it at the festival as well. Make sure to check out Into the Okavango this weekend. And later in the year, it'll be on National Geographic's Wild Channel. Tell us a bit about what's next for you.
Well, I'm still working on Pristine Seas. That's an ongoing project. I worked on it the whole time while making this film. It's sort of my 9-to-5 job. Yeah. We do about 5 expeditions a year, trying to protect the last wildest ocean seascapes on the planet. They've already managed to protect over 5 million square kilometers. This is all led by Dr. Enrique Sala, who's like my hero and my mentor. Even though he's not a filmmaker, he's a scientist. So I have a lot of work to do with that, and yeah, I'm still looking for the next what I want to do as a feature doc. I have a few ideas, but hasn't fully materialized yet.
Yeah, got to get through this first round first.
Yeah, I got to get through the promotion, and then and then keep chugging along with Pristine Seas.
Awesome. Well, be sure to check it out this weekend and beyond. We will see you around.